Hey ladies and gents, Pilot Mark and Jimmy here from RC Aviation and Crawling. We're in the car, the trusty Mazda CX-9, which will actually hold a fully assembled MAL M7 from E-Flight and a Carbon Club S2 from E-Flight with the landing gear taken off, and a little micro sport cub, and a scratch build. If you can see it, not really, but there's also a scratch build carbon cub in progress up there in the mix. There you go. You can see a little bit of it. Yeah, needs some work right now. Some of the stripes are peeling off. Can we see it up in here? There we go. You can see a little bit more of it there. Anyway, so got all that up in the Mazda CX-9. So she's a good airplane bird. Her good airplane hauler. Okay, so what am I talking about right now? Oh, I want to talk about, just do a quick video about my, as a newbie to the NX line of radios from Spektrum, going from a DX to an NX, I thought I'd post a video for other newbies who might be thinking about going from a DX to an NX, and or like I was previously, not long ago. They might be wondering, well, what's the difference between a more expensive NX and a lesser expensive DX? So that's what I'm just going to give you my experiences with that and impressions. So there's the radio, obviously, here. Now, I have never flown a nicer radio than a, well, they're all nice, but I think the Spektrum radios are all nice. But I've never flown, the only non-RTF transmitter I've ever used was a Spektrum DX6E. And it was a good transmitter. I mean, it flew great, but the sticks, the sticks felt a little bit like kind of a non-hobby grade transmitter. You know what I mean? Kind of. I mean, they weren't flimsy, but they were kind of light. You know, when you use the sticks, they didn't have much feel to them. You know what I mean? They were kind of what, soft, I guess is the way I put it. And I had a couple of the switches. Two of these switches, the most used ones, wear out after maybe 2 years of use on the DX6E. What else? Well, anyway, okay. So other than that, it was a good radio. It's a bare bones radio, but it was very good, so that's fine. But recently, I was going to buy a DX6E just very recently. I just got them all just days ago, and and a new radio with it. So I was going to try to save money and go with the DX6E. Went to my hobby town in the Pacific Northwest in Everett, Washington, north of Seattle, Everett, Washington, to the hobby town there to get a DX6E, but they didn't have one. So I thought, well, it was a long drive to another hobby town, and I had already been thinking about trying to upgrade maybe to like an NX, but I had no idea what I was going to get for my money if I did go with the NX line. So basically, if I was going to purchase another DX6E, that was going to be $250 plus tax, which puts it at about 200 and we'll keep the tax out of it. So $250, and then if I bought the NX6 as I did here, that cost me 350 bones. All right, plus tax. So as I was looking, and the guy who was helping me at Hobbytown, he didn't really know anything about air transmitters or anything to do with RC airplanes, and he was kind of busy, so he couldn't really do much. And so he just kind of said, well, it's a better quality transmitter overall, the NX versus the DX series. So I said, okay, and I didn't really, I just basically said, okay, fine, sounds reasonable. And because of the increase in price, you must be getting something good for it. But I didn't know what you were getting for it. That was my only option, and it was $100 more. But I've seen the NX. I've seen a lot of people who I really have been watching a long time, for years, and who I really respect in every aspect, in the hobby. And a lot of them are using the NX. So I thought, okay, well, let's go for it. So then what I discovered later was some of the things that, both by reading the box, both by reading the back of the box, because this was locked in a case at Hobby Zone. I couldn't pick up the box and read about it on the box. No, it was locked in a case, and then when I had the guy unlock the case, well, he whipped on over to cashier zone, and rang me up, and then off I went. So, but I learned from the box that one of the reasons to buy this is it's got a rechargeable lithium. Excuse me. Yeah, it's got a rechargeable Li-ion battery in it. And I did an unboxing. I did an unboxing of this radio recently, but I'll show a couple things that I've already showed. And there's Jimmy sleeping. You can see he's got I bought him his own sleeping bag just for use in the car, because when he lays down on it, it's just luxurious for him. And if it's cold, I put part of it over him, and he just loves it. Okay. So anyway, there's the back of the radio. First of all, a nice handle, a real handle, not just an indentation for your fingers. Here's your charging port, USB charging port, which is great. You can, it's just so handy, as everybody knows, because we all use USB for various things. Anyway, so it comes with a cable that goes in here, and then you can charge this off of a USB power source, including off the cigarette lighter in your car on the way to the field, which I do, or while I'm driving around running errands, like I do my RC flight batteries and my crawling batteries. When I'm driving around town doing errands, that's when I charge up my batteries while I'm driving around, and if I'm going to be using them in a day or two. This one here, I'm not sure what this one is here, folks. I'm not sure what that's for there. And then over here, I also don't know what that's for. But you do get the recharging right here, so I do know what that's about. And then I'll take off the battery. One-handed filming here. Okay, so we'll take off the back here. And as you can see, there is the Li-ion battery in there, and they got it really nicely in there. There's foam here, and it's really in there snug. And see, and it looks to me that you can replace it. It's not. I haven't actually pulled it out to look at it, but I'm confident that you can replace this battery when eventually its life, its service life is over. You cannot, you cannot run standard AA batteries in here. Focus? Yeah, you cannot run standard AA batteries in here as far as I can tell. Maybe if you took this out, but I don't think so, because I don't see really any room for the contacts of the batteries. Anyway, so I don't think you can run this stuff of AA batteries, but who would want to, because you can even charge it in your car, right? You can be out in the middle, anyway, you can even charge your car. So I think it's really, really cool. So we'll close that back up again. All right, now I'm just going to kind of talk about things as I see them. So the next thing is, looking at the back of this, we got this here. Now, this is really a comfortable shape. Let me spin this around. Uh-oh. And I just flew, maybe I said this already, but I just flew the second flight ever of my mall and this transmitter just now. That's why I'm still in the car. And, it was fantastic. Check out my video if you're interested in the mall. Fantastic. So anyway, this grippy deal. Okay, well, not only is it, and I don't use this word often, but it's ergonomically great for gripping like this. Okay, see that? It is so comfortable. The whole radio is so comfortable, and that grip, the shape of that and the size of that grip on the back, that's really cool. Really, really, really cool, in my opinion. Furthermore, you see, see if we can get focus here. You can do it. All right. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, phone. Okay, so right here, you can see the different kind of surface here and here. See, this is different here. Now, this here is hard plastic. This here is, it's got a rubberized type of a finish on it. Let's see if we can get closer on it. Yeah, see that? It's a roughish. Come on, you were in focus a minute ago. There we go. Beautiful. This here is a rather rough and a rubbery feel. Also this. So it really, your hand just grips it. Rubbery. Right here, a non-slip grip kind of a thing when it's in your hand. Really great, really great. These are little things. Now, like I said, I paid $100 more for this NX6 than I would have for the $100 cheaper DX6E. Okay, so now I'm just showing all the things that makes, I think, it definitely worth $100 more, and maybe even more than worth it. Okay, so you got the grips and the rubberization, and you got the built-in battery and the USB charging. I'm already sold. Okay, then we'll oh, here's another little thing. It's a little thing. You know, on a DX60, you just got your antenna, and that's it. Now this one actually pivots. See, actually pivots. See, pretty good. Let's see if we can get a. So we can see it better. You see this? Yeah. So it pivots a whole lot, as you can tell, right? And I believe that's so that depending on how you hold your transmitter, for example, you could hold the transmitter. You know, straight, what level, straight up and down, right? Let's say you'd like to hold your transmitter like this, you know, with a straight view. Well, the antenna is now angled up kind of towards the sky where your plane's going to be. So that could be just makes all the better chances of having a really, really, really good signal, seems to me. So that's a little thing, but I think it's very cool. And this is not a flimsy, you can see this here is not a flimsy pivoting mechanism, if you will. It's not, it's solid, it's really solid. Okay, so that's all good stuff. All right, that's that great handle. All right, what else we got going on? Let's see. Okay, well, here's something else. This is a cosmetic thing mostly, but we get to focus on that stick. That'd be cool. Oh, come on, you can do it. I know I can do it. There we go. Oh, so close. Well, okay, I'm just not going to spend all day trying to get... There we go. Oh, so close. How about if I go even, Steven, like that? All right. Oh, we got focus. Oh, thank you. Okay, so you can see here we got some really, I mean, this is little things, but again, little things add up. Really nice, solid metal sticks here. Really grippy. If you're a thumb, what do you call it? If you're a thumber, you know, if you fly with your thumb on the end of the stick like I do, look at that. There we go. That's the view we want. If you fly with your thumb tips on the sticks like I do, look at that. Look how that's a spiked. That's super grippy right there. Oh yeah, baby. That's cool. Little things adding up. And if you're a pincher, well, you got a real good grippy surfaces here. Textured surfaces right in here. So that's super cool. And it looks cool. I mean, hey, you know, like again, the points, the plus points are adding up for the extra cost as we go, and the blurring of the non-focused images also. Anyway, so yeah, the benefits of the extra cost are adding up. Also, these sticks I mentioned earlier about DX60 sticks being a little bit, you know, squishy or whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? A little bit, I don't know, not really, a little bit squishy, a little bit loose, and not that much dampening. These here are really nice. They're just the right amount of dampening, not too much and not too little. There's a fair amount of dampening, way more than the DX6E in my opinion, and I just like it. I just really particularly like the feel of these sticks. When I'm flying, I forget I'm even using the transmitter because that's how comfortable the sticks are. They're so comfortable that I forget that like I said, I forget that I have my fingers, my thumbs on the sticks, because they move just naturally with my, you know, when I'm flying. They just feel so natural when I'm flying that I just don't even notice that I'm using sticks. What else? Let's see. Okay, and then of course, it's got a lot of switches on, a lot of assignable switches. It's actually got to 7 channels. There's a 7th channel that's for limited usage, and I'm not quite sure what that limited usage is, but hey, you know, it's got to be something good. So you got a lot of switches on here, and of course, if you're going from a DXE radio to this, like I just did, you may be like me, not the most experienced pilot in the world yet, and you may not have yet. You maybe have used only RTF radios, where all the switches are already assigned to what their function is, and the transmitter is already bound to the airplane and all kinds of stuff. So basically, when if you're one of those people, when you get a radio like this, and I've had a computer radio before, the DX, like I said, the DX6E. But before that, I had a DXE, and I didn't know about any of this stuff. So anyway, so when you have a computer radio, if you're not already experienced with that, they give you however many switches you get on the radio, and the more you spend, the more switches you get. but you get a bunch of switches, but they're not already assigned like they are with an RTF radio. You can assign them yourself. You have to program it into and program things. You have to program the radio for those things instead of it being pre-programmed on an RTF radio. But that's part of the fun to me. It's part of the interesting aspect and learning how to do that, and it and it also lets you really do it the way you want it. For example, now for the flaps, this switch here you can see sticks out a lot more than center screen. Now you can see that one switch is way longer than this. See this and this. All right, I've got my thumb just underneath the smaller switch, and then I gotta go, and then here. So there's a lot of difference. See, I can. The point I'm trying to make is by feel, I can feel which switch I've got. Like this. See, I can go, okay, where's my switches? I can come in from the left and say, okay, where's my switches? Okay, there's that one. That's the short one. Oh, I can feel the long one. Flaps. And then I'm flying, not using, and I gotta need to put my flaps on again. Okay, there's the short one, long one, boom. Just makes it easier. You don't have to look. At least that's how I'm experiencing it. So that's a cool thing, just that you've got that longer switch, which I believe, if I recall correctly, when you're programming, some of the switches you can do whatever you want with, assign whatever you want to, whatever function, but some of the switches, the factory is already telling you to use a certain switch, and if I recall correctly, the flaps indicates to use switch D for that. Yeah, it does. It indicates to use switch D for that. Almost got a shot of switch D. No? Yes. Yeah. So the manual for the radio indicates to use switch D to program your flaps, and so obviously that means they did make this longer for the reasons I just described, which is great. And there's your bind button, which is real nice. It's substantial bind button there. Although I didn't need to use that because when I went to go ahead and bind, I followed the instructions for them all, which is if you wanted safe select, meaning you could select to use it or not. And I've now selected not to, but I did use it early on for the maiden flights for various reasons. Anyway, I'll tell you. I'm going to do a video about that sometime. Why all flyers could benefit from safe for certain purposes, in my opinion. But anyway, so when I bound this up, after I turned on the radio, I just used the menu that we're going to look at in a second, and I scrolled until I found where it said bind, and I went into the bind, and it had me select the model and asked me if I wanted to bind, and I said yeah, and I activated bind, and it bound up. So it was just that easy. Another note, so I don't forget it later, is with the lesser expensive DX6E radio, to bind with safe. When you're first binding up your model, you have to take the sticks here and move them in a funny way, which is this way, as I recall, and hold it there while it's binding, and then let go, and that'll make it so that you have safe available on one of your switches. But with this radio, by going into the menu here and doing it that way, I didn't have to do anything with the sticks. It just did it. It just bound up real sweet, real easy, real fast, quite frankly. Okay, so what else? Okay, so then, so you got your switches. And what I did is when I said, again, if you're new, what I did is I set up my switches. You got a lot of different switches here. You got more than you're going to need for just a 6-channel plane and flaps. Right, you got a switch you can use for retractable landing gear and whatnot, but so a lot of switches. So I thought, well, to make it less confusing for me, I thought I'm going to go ahead and look at my RTF transmitter, my DX that came with the RTF carbon cub. I'm going to look at that and pretty much since I'm used to flying that and I'm used to the switch locations on that radio, I'm going to go ahead and set up the switch locations on this radio very similarly. So I've got my this is a 3-position switch. Focusing. Got to be patient. Okay, now this is a 3-position switch, and I assigned this to be my my flight mode switch. The S here means when I've got this little deal that I made for myself, a little sticker, a reminder, especially since I'm brand new with this radio. I made this little label to remind me that when the switch is in all the way back position, that's S for safe mode. When I move the switch forward one position, that's I for intermediate mode, and when I move it all the way forward, like I used it for my flight today, then I'm in expert mode, which I prefer to call experienced mode because I fly in that mode, but I'm no expert. So anyway, so I signed this a 3-position switch with those functions first. I don't know if it's first, but that's one of the ones that I did. Now, my rate switch on my other on my RTF radios is over here, but I liked having it here. And also, I think the manual recommended this one for rates, so fine. So this is a 2-position switch, and again, my little note shows that when the switch is back in the back position, that's low rates, and when I move it forward, oh, whoa, high rates. All right, cool. And then same thing with the flaps. It told me to use switch D, so I did, and that's a 3-position switch. And 3-position switch. Thank you, camera. And as you can see, when it's fully up, the O for off, flaps off. A 1-click down, half flaps. H for half flaps. 1 more click down, F for full flaps. And labeling these as a newbie to this radio just makes it foolproof for me to right away be able to, discern between the different switches that I need to be using for whatever function, so I don't get befuddled in the air. Yeah, and then this one here, that's a 3-position switch that's currently unused. And the phone cam is currently not focusing. All right, and then so let's and then this one here. Now on the RTF radio, this is the rate switch, but this one I don't have used at the moment. Now let's see. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so that one's unused. It's a 3-position switch. You can do whatever you want with it, pretty much, unless the manual tells you, not to use that for a certain function. Now we'll come up on here. Now on my RTF radios, this is the traditional throttle cut focusing position, 2-position switch. Right. This is the traditional location of the switch, and this one also is longer. See, can you see? It's a little bit taller right here. Again, easier to discern that throttle cut switch from the adjacent switch or switches because of that, which I think is all these little things. I mean, the length of the switches, that's what am I saying? I don't know if that's on my RTF radio or not. But anyway, these are all little things that make the Spektrum radios really fantastic, I think. A lot of, you take a whole lot of really fabulous little things and add enough of them together, along with a good solid product, and you get a fabulous product, and that's what the Spektrum radios are, in my opinion. So, there you go. Pardon me. So, we got the throttle cut. We talked about that. And I didn't mark this one as far as, that this is throttle cut off in the position we see now, and that this is throttle cut on because it's just ingrained in my memory. But I did mark it as throttle cut. And then this one here, I don't have any use for it here, but this is switch G. Switch G, focus, please. Oh, baby, if I sing to the phone camera, it'll focus. Switch G there is recommended, or actually kind of not recommended, it's indicated by the manual. That's going to be the gear switch, which is coincidental because G is the first letter in gear. It makes it easy to remember that's a gear switch, but I'll label it. Anyway, when I get an airplane with retracts, then this will be the gear switch here. It's a 3-position, but you can use it as a 2-position. Yep, gear up, gear down, gear up. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten started, but I'm going to move right along rapidly to keep the pace of the video flowing like a good Hollywood movie. All right, so I can turn it on. Press here. And hold for quite a bit until you see the screen. The screen's coming on. Oh, it's on. I just got to change my camera angle switch. There we go. You can see it's a full color screen, and there's a whole bunch of different styles and color, what do you want to call it? Color schemes that you can program onto the screen to get it just how you like. So I think it's pretty cool. But the MOL manual, we'll just go ahead and look at what's on the screen right now. The MOL manual, again, if you're a newbie, and if you're not a newbie, but you don't have an NX ready, you could just see how cool the screen is. But so we got, let's see, there we go. what did I do when I put my finger there? When I focus. Anyway, up here you can see a 1. That means when I programmed this radio, I put the first model in, model number 1, and I identified it or labeled it as the mall. And you even get to select from a number of different airplane icons until you get the one that fits the model. There's a beautiful bush plane icon, perfect to fit the mall, so that's cool. You know, when I get an EDF programmed in here, well, it'll have a photo, not a photo, an icon of an EDF. So it looks cool, and it helps you visually, you know, scroll through the radio and find the airplane that you want to fly at any given time by category, you know, bush plane, etc. Okay, and then we got our flight timer here. Now, unlike the DX6E, I think the DX6E is the same. I think this is a basic flight timer on any Spektrum computer radio. At any rate, I set it for 4 minutes, which is what the mall manual says. And when you activate the throttle, then the flight timer automatically begins. See it? It began when I have the throttle on. That's something to show. And now the throttle's off. You saw it was at 4 minutes ago, a second ago. Focusing. Come on, you can focus. Yeah. Now watch. Oh, come on now. What I'm trying to show for you not familiar with a better radio like this is that when you hit the throttle, it automatically starts your timer countdown, right? So you're flying, and then your flight is over, throttle is off, and what it does is it tells you how much time you have remaining. So you set it for 4 minutes. As soon as you activate the throttle, you're using power off the battery, so the timer starts counting down, and then after you fly and land and shut off the throttle, then it stops and shows you the amount of remaining time that you have, you know. So you can say, whoa, I only had 3 seconds left on, you know, on my 4 minutes, so it's a good thing I landed fast, you know, that sort of thing. And okay, so that's cool. Focus. Yay, focus. Okay. What else? Now this, I believe. Now again, I'm a bit new to this, so I believe, if I recall correctly. Well, let me see. I'm trying to remember what this does. I believe this moves. As the countdown goes. I think this moves, but I'm not sure. Not sure about that. So sorry about that. This one I'm not sure about. Actually, these here I don't know what they do. All right then. Actually, anyway, I don't know what they do. So there you go. Flat out admitting it. Okay, up here. It's pretty good focus. Not the best in the world, but pretty good. Up here we have. There we go. Up here it's telling you that I believe it's telling you that your DSMX signal and everything is good. Your DSMX functioning is good. There's your battery transmitter, built-in ion battery level, both a battery icon and an actual voltage, 3.9 volts. It tells you. That's freaking great. Very safe. You know, I mean, that's a very safe thing. You can look and see, you know, how close. You know, you can just look and see how much you got on the radio at any given time. So it's really impossible to ever have a low throttle situation, low voltage situation on your radio. What else? Okay, and then this here. Let's see, 1049. Now this here is counting up 148 and 54 seconds. I really don't know what that's for, folks. An hour, 48 minutes, and 59 seconds. See, it's counting up. I don't know why it's doing that. So, all right then. I'll learn that and put it in the comments. Okay, what else? That's really about it. Okay, so the next thing I guess I would show would be... Yes, definitely the next thing that I would show would be sort of some really, really basic stuff about how easy it is to set up without going into a bunch of specifics. Because there's some fantastic videos showing how to use this radio. But the manual you get with this radio, combined with the manual you get with the any E-flite aircraft, excellent. Really, really excellent. So even if you're... it's been 2 years since I got a new radio and programmed it. And it wasn't as nice as this one, and this one's a little bit more, slightly more complex, maybe, in some ways. Is it? Maybe not. Anyway. So yeah, I just kind of walked myself through it. And you can easily do it with those fantastic manuals, even if you've never done anything with a radio, in my opinion. Okay, so I'll just kind of show you navigationally. Now, here's another, something I don't know about yet. These buttons here have icons on them. It looks like they're shortcut buttons to get to various places in the radio. I'm pretty confident that's what they are. I don't. I'm going to look that up and see. In the meantime, I'm just using the screen, the slow, the function dealio, the slower method. And so you've got this bar here that rolls back and forth to move into different places within the menus and the different screens that you'll use. And then if you push it, it acts as a button, which also allows you to navigate through things. So I'm going to go ahead and push this and hold it for a minute. Okay, it went right away. It beeped, telling you it knows you pushed it and it's doing what you're asking it to do. So that takes me to the function list, right? And then the roller bar I showed you. Yeah, a roller bar. Let's see, what can I do? Let me see if I can turn this interior light here. Get a little bit. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay, so I'm trying to see the screen and the roller bar. Okay, so you can see the roller bar here. There we go. That's pretty good. Focus is not.